been to Boscov's?
Are we recording?
Yes.
No, what is that?
Boscov's is a department store in Delaware is where I've seen it. It's like a Macy's or JCPenney.
You want to do a shirtless podcast?
No, I'm not interested. But you should, though.
We
I would
should
love
do
to
it.
see you do it. No, you. So try from a me place.
This is our podcast, though.
But I mean, we don't have to do everything together. We oftentimes do separate things on this podcast that makes us happy.
Well, we don't have to do it. I just want to know if you wanted to. I've asked you in the past, and you've never said yes.
Yeah, and I will never say yes.
You be posting full news on the internet. Pop off.
Oh, this is my podcast. This is my place of work. I'm not working on the internet. I'm working here.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
You were slacking, honey. Slacking.
Yeah.
All over the internet.
Mm-hmm. But a bitch is still what? Paid. Because it costs $1 billion to look this good.
Wait, so do you get paid for the picture or
because she got it?
What about those things on your TikTok and Instagram that say paid promotion? It says like paid. Were you working then?
That's on TikTok. I've never been naked on TikTok. Only on Instagram.
I'll be doing a little bit of investigation into that. You haven't posted any paid promotions on Instagram?
What?
You never had a paid promotion on Instagram? You legally can't lie.
I legally can't lie.
Have you ever had a paid promotion on Instagram?
I don't recall.
What about those away suitcases and those pictures you took?
Those?
Yeah.
I don't know what away is.
So you never heard of a away suitcase? Wow, your funny about to get snatched. Y'all about to see Monét at the airport with a bunch of fucking garbage bags. Away's gonna show up and snooch. Okay, sorry. Tell me about this restaurant you're talking about.
A restaurant? What?
The place you asked me if I went, I assumed it was a restaurant.
Boscov's? Boss something?
Bitch, I just did a whole explanation to you. I'm not saying it again.
No, but I wasn't listening. I was like talking.
I forget. I don't know what it is.
You know what Boscov's is. Tell me what Boscov's is.
I really don't. I was doing a bit.
You
I don't
knew
know.
You knew a second ago and now you don't know?
I was doing a bit.
Oh, there's no Boscov's.
No, there isn't.
Are you lying?
What the hell? Boscov's? I don't know what that means.
You're full of shit. You're gaslighting. Boscov's is, check out our weekly deals, sales, and promotions. Great deals and top brands. Shop Boscovs.com for great values and apparel, shoes, handbags, cosmetics, jewelry, and home. Free shipping at $45.
There you go.
So there is a Boscov's.
There is. And you just explained what it is to all of us. Thank you so much.
You can find a Boscov's near you. They're in Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. There are 26 of them in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania loves their Boscov's.
Have you ever been to Boscov's?
Yes. I have my aunt that lives in Delaware. When we used to go Black Friday shopping and stuff, we used to go to Boscov's back in the day.
So you do know what Boscov's is?
Yes.
Jacob, this is advisory, not rivalry. Can you give us our first bit of advice, please?
Question.
Just for some context, we got a lot of questions. This is a really good one for the backlog, but it is a seasonal question and it is a little bit out of season, but I think it's still good in general.
That's fine.
Okay. Wait, can you start it over?
Yeah, we
It's
can't
also
even hear
it's
that.
also really hard to hear it.
What is up, sibling rivalry? To Monét, I know you love the British, so top of the morning, love. I hope that did the right things for you, Bob. Sup, nigga? So as you know, we are approaching a new season, but obviously I'm the trade of 4 seasons, so I'm currently trying to prepare myself for, the fucking pumpkin talk, happy white people, which is upsetting. So my question is, how do you fool people into thinking that you're excited about life? It's not that I'm not a fun person to be around. I like to make people laugh and feel good. But the thing is that I'm not going to fake. I'm not going to fake laugh. I'm not going to fake care. And I think sometimes that can put people off. So, any advice is much appreciated. Thank you for doing what you do. Good luck in the tour. I can't wait for new music. Fucking Monét, just let me take a bite.
Jesus Christ.
Do you want to? This is something very much up your alley. You want to take it first? No, I'll
Is it up my alley? I'll talk about it. I feel like at parties,
You hate
and
small
stuff,
talk. You don't like smiling at people and stuff. You like this. I think this is up your alley.
At parties and stuff, I don't particularly care for niceties and small talk, but I do find things that I actually want to have conversations about. So, instead of being like, I don't want to fake laugh. You don't have to fake laugh. No one's asking you to fake laugh. I think I realized this in life. People who fake laugh, not everyone, but a lot of people who fake laugh, it's because they're uncomfortable. They're not doing it to be fake. They're doing it because they don't know how to deal with the scenario otherwise. They just start laughing. There are certain people who laugh while they're talking. They laugh after everything they say. They're not saying anything funny. They just laugh. I have a friend named Miguel back in New York City who would guffaw at everything he said. No, it doesn't matter what. It could be sad. It could be serious. It could be neutral. It could be funny. He was cackling while he was talking. And I realized it was never because he thought it was funny. It was because he just felt awkward. He wasn't trying to be fake. He was honestly just doing the best he could with what he had. Now, in my experience, I tend to be the life of the party. I tend to do very well at parties. And I'm not usually fake laughing. I usually just engage in conversations that I want to. And then when someone talks about something I find a little bit interesting, I'll just kind of jump in and give my 2 cents on the thing as well. And I think that if you lean into being yourself, you'll get a much better response actually than trying to imitate other people's behavior.
I was gonna say you sound like a funny person. Like normally at parties, I'm a very social person, and I like buzz around and talk to different people. And I tend to always be like making jokes or like making observations about the party, and that so that people aren't fake laughing. They're enjoying themselves and they're laughing with me because I'm cracking jokes. And so you seem like someone that can do that too. You seem from how you submitted your question, you sound like someone who is the life of the party as well. You sound like someone who's cracking jokes, someone who can make other people laugh. So I would say lean into that personality, so you don't feel like you're at the will to laugh at other people's jokes. Bitch, you be the joke teller. You be the story crafter. You be the one who is making the party fierce if you want to take that on. And if not,
he's black.
So?
You told him to be a story cracker.
I said story teller. Joke cracker. I meant joke cracker.
You told him to be a joke cracker. He's black.
Oh my God. So, but it's also if you but also, if you go into this party, you're not
Is Trixie a joke cracker?
She is. And you're not particularly interested in like carrying on. And maybe you just want to go to this party because you know they're going to have some good hors d'oeuvres. Let me tell you, bitch, I fucking love hors d'oeuvres. It's like my favorite food. So sometimes you just want to go to a party just for the little hand tricks and the free drinks, and that's cool too. And on the subject of happy white people, I know it is upsetting sometimes to see white people cheersing their pumpkin spices and drinking out their cups, and them bitches just smiling and kiki and cockeying. It is sometimes it's hard to do. And you know what? Just spit on them. I'm kidding. Don't do that. I'm being silly. I don't really mean that.
Yeah. I've expressed one time, and people were kind of like, I don't get it. And some folks are like, no, I get it. Watching white people laugh in a group is irritating. What y'all niggas laughing at? What the fuck are y'all watching a bunch of white people in a picture all laughing? My first thought was like, what the fuck are you laughing at? I want to know I want to know what's so fucking funny. I would really like to know, as a matter of fact. I don't know why it bothers me so much. It just irritates me. You never feel that?
For sure. So what you see? To say I'm Bob. I mean, they have days like Bob makes. There have days when I walk around and I'm not in the best mood. I'm not smiling at things. I'm just irritated. And then I would like, and I know I have to run to a mall to pick up a thing that I have to get for a thing. I'll just walk around with my glasses on and just mean mugging the whole time. And I think that is a perfectly acceptable space to be sometimes. You don't always have to be happy and cheery and goofy and kiki and cockeying. Being angry and annoyed and pissed off is great too. And I love being in that space just as much as I like being happy.
I do think that if you're going to be if you're going to go to a party and you're in a bad mood, maybe sit that party out. If you're in a mood where you're like, I can't recover from this, maybe sit that out. Don't bring that energy to a party. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But also sometimes,
unless the hors d'oeuvres are gonna be good.
Sometimes you have a contrary opinion, it can be really cool to like have a really cool conversation at a party. If everyone's talking about Zodiac, I'm the one who will be like, I don't really know if I believe in the zodiac. And then you might end up having actually a really fun and cool conversation.
Yeah.
In my Monét experience.
Shall we take on the next question?
You ever use that as some sort of a branding thing? In my Monét experience, and then you give advice?
On the exchange rate, the producers they made a lot of money puns for me. We were not short of money puns. Every segment
That's not a money pun though.
Oh, I mean a pun or a play on my name. My show was full of them. Every
use Monét experience.
I think we did use Monét experience for something actually. I'm pretty sure we did.
Work. All right, hit it, Jacob.
My name's Bob. I'm a lesbian in my 30s living in Los Angeles, and I've recently been touched by an angel. Got some lip filler, some other filler, and I'm very happy with the results. It's still a little bit odd looking in the mirror and seeing myself. But my question is, my friends are, obviously they're noticing the difference. They're saying, wow, you're looking so good. You really, really look good. And which makes me feel a little bit conflicted. I mean, obviously that was the point, but part of me is like, well, when the fillers dissolve, how am I going to feel? Am I going to have to keep doing this the rest of my life? I want to, but then again, I'm feeling, well, my self-confidence shouldn't be based solely on my amount of lip filler. I don't know. I'm just wondering if you've ever experienced anything similar. Thank you. Love you both.
I mean, considering what you said on the last episode, do you want to take this one first too?
So yesterday, one of my best friends called me out at work for having filler.
Okay.
In front of all of our coworkers.
Okay, let me say this. We were on the podcast and we were on the thing and I was like, something looks different about your face. I don't know what it was. I don't know what Bob could have said anything. So
I could have lied, but I chose not to lie. I could have been like nothing, literally nothing. So yeah, I have had a scenario where a friend of mine in a professional space called me out for getting work done. And I have evidence to prove it, by the way. Something with your face. What you do to your face?
I did not do that. I said something was different.
But if it wasn't work, what would it be?
I don't know what it would be. Maybe you don't.
I've been using a sculpting tool, bitch.
You don't moisturize. You maybe.
I do moisturize.
Well, I'm saying Layla tried to put you on like a full skincare regimen that you don't do. Maybe you started doing that. I don't know.
There's literally shea butter right next to my.
Okay, shea butter for your face.
I don't use it on my face, but I'm saying I moisturize.
I'm talking about skincare. Skincare that you do.
I moisturize my face too. You think my skin looks like this? And I don't
no, but a cleanser, a toner, a serum, an eye cream.
Okay, toner's not moisturizer.
Toner is part of a skincare
Cleanser's not
regimen.
Moisturizer. I didn't say it's not part of skincare. You said you don't moisturize.
And I said you're right.
Fix yourself.
Oh my God, I'm going to literally
fix yourself real quick.
Bitch, next time I see
the way I fix his chin.
On site be like
Monét, I was thinking of today, you and I should do, for the Patreon, we should play basketball. Will you beat me in basketball?
Oh, for sure.
We need to play a game of 21.
We need to do anything you can do. We need to do basketball, football, and soccer.
You need teams to do football. There's no two-person football.
Yes, you can.
Two-person football?
Yeah.
How?
With the flag. You put the little flags, and whoever gets the flag of the other person.
But that's not. I can play football.
Andy, yeah, and me and Andy.
I'm not putting Andy against Jacob. I don't want to embarrass him.
Andy will pick up Jacob by his ankle and fucking Hercules Jacob across the motherfucking parking lot.
Don't ever underestimate Jacob. That's your first mistake.
Okay. Now let's do it then. Me and you.
Just like Andy was positive he was going to take me down in our little mercy game. Andy was like, "Oh, I'm gathering you." Within 3 seconds, your little boyfriend, who you were like, "My boyfriend can gather you," was gathered. Yeah. And you were on the podcast. Andy's gonna whoop you up. Andy gonna this.
Never
Andy gonna
said that.
Yes, you did.
I never
like,
did. When?
Back when we talking about arm wrestling, you were like, "Get Andy. Andy gonna gather you. Andy gonna get you." Because you all remember this. Jacob, do you remember Jacob, do you remember any of this? Specifically, we talking about arm wrestling. Monét was like, "Do Andy. Andy gonna get you."
No, I did not.
Yeah, she was, but I mean, that's kind of more. I think she was more doing it as a bit.
It doesn't matter. You said what you need to say. Monét said she didn't, and we know she did.
Well,
so
how about
you and your boyfriend got gathered by me?
How about you and Andy do your little leg game?
Jacob goes to the gym 5
Okay,
times
you know
a
what?
week.
You know what? I'll see. We'll put Andy down. How about me and Patty versus you and your little boyfriend? And we're
Okay,
still gonna squash
bring
y'all
Andy
niggas.
back. First of all, Jacob is going to beat your boyfriend up. Jacob goes to the gym literally 5 days a week. Jacob will literally beat your boyfriend.
Jacob is literally like,
up.
Jacob is like, please, ixnay on the beat up say. Hey, Jacob is like, don't put
Jacob
the
has been taking pole dancing class. He has very strong arms and legs. Jacob will literally beat your boyfriend up.
Not true.
In his little fucking sober mobile. Anybody get fucked up? You just signed Andy's fucking death certificate. You just put a hit out on your own boyfriend.
You know what?
Say
You know what?
Is he in the house? Go say goodbye now.
We will even let you invite another poly into the cube because it'll be 2 against 3, and we'll still mollywop all 3 of y'all niggas.
Is Andy? You better go say goodbye now to Andy because Andy might not make it
not
home
here
tonight.
because you know what he's doing? He's at a motherfucking Spartan race, honey. Something that you and your boyfriend could never do. He's
Jacob,
over here working on his motherfucking fitness, bitch. He's working
Jacob,
on his
handle it.
fitness.
Jacob, handle it. Jacob, that's all I gotta say. Handle it, Jacob.
We gonna get Jacob his little asthma pump.
Jacob does not have asthma. How dare you? My baby is fit and healthy.
Wow, I want to say there is nothing wrong with people who have asthma, y'all. Wow, Bob. There is nothing wrong with people who have asthma.
Now back to this girl that had a lot to ask us on Advicery the other day. Lesbian, what's good? I think that okay, let me say this. I thought about it the other day too. So I went to this doctor. I did not know I was going to talk about my fucking filler 2 episodes in a row. I went to the doctor. I mentioned to my publicist, I was like, I want to get a little lipo down here. I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I was like, I want to get a little lipo right here. I went into the doctor. The doctor said, you actually don't have enough fat there to pull. That's not fat. That's actually muscle. You just have like a strong fucking thing. And then you have sub something fat.
Subdermal.
It wasn't subdermal. He used a different word. It was like submuscular, whatever. It's not beneath skin. It's like fat beneath them. But he's like, it's just part of. It's not like there's no working out you can do that can get rid of it. There's no lipo. It's just part of who you are. You have a thick layer of muscle and then some fat underneath that. But what you actually need to do is just get your chin, either an implant or you can do filler, which is less permanent. Will go away after about 1.5 years. And some people just go back and do it every couple of years. And your worth should not be based on how people view you. I was thinking about this today. I was watching, me and Jacob were watching episode 3 of We're Here Today, and Shangela's drag kid in St. George, Utah, was talking about how nice it feels to be seen as a man, to be seen as a guy, to not be seen as a girl. He's transmasculine. And of course, the part of me is like, well, what does it matter how people view you? But also, what really matters is how you view yourself. If that makes you feel good, there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with getting up and doing your hair every day. It takes more effort to do your hair every day or get a haircut every couple of weeks than it does to get filler once every 1.5 years. There's nothing wrong with doing something to your body. But society's made you believe that if it's cosmetic or if it's some sort of a cosmetic procedure, that there's something wrong with it and that it's bad. Dyeing your hair is really no different to me than getting Botox. In fact, dyeing your hair takes longer.
Yeah.
And you have to do it more frequently. There's nothing wrong with liking the way you look with lip filler. Do not let society tell you that getting filler or getting Botox or getting liposuction or getting an eyebrow lift or going on a diet or staying off a diet or gaining some weight or losing some weight. You want to pick up pounds, you want to lose pounds. If it makes you feel good and it doesn't feel negative to you, then I think you should do it.
I agree, and if you have people who you feel like are judging you for this, whether it be albeit friends or family, I think that's when you can have a conversation and be like, hey, I don't like that you guys say this about my filler or whatever I'm doing. Like I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good. If there are people now, if there are strangers that you feel are judging you, I mean, I don't think it's worth having a conversation with them. Bitch, what strangers think about you? I have a tattoo on my back. What others think of you is none of your business. So if it's strangers, whatever. But if they're close friends or family or partner, then I think since you're a lesbian, it's a girlfriend or a girlfriend prospect. If they're the ones making you feel strange or weird about it, then I think having a conversation about it, because these are people that you'll have to deal with forever or a long time. So it's not worth being uncomfortable because you don't want to say something. I say something so you can eliminate that part of it. But yeah, bitch, do what you want. I am all about cosmetic surgery. I'm like, bitch, live your life. I'm all about going to the gym as much as you want, dyeing your hair, like live. Life is too motherfucking short to not be happy to look how you want to look for the time that you are alive on this fucking earth. Because a lot of people are dead and didn't get a chance to do it. So I'm all about doing what you want to your body to make yourself happy. Period.
How lucky are you to live in 2022 and you get to have lip filler? People in the 60s are just like, I just got these little paper cuts.
Mm-hmm. Or people in the early 90s. I know people, old gays from the 90s that got filler back then, and it wasn't what it is now. And bitch, their shit is fucked up because the science was different. And like and back then, the science, it would like clump up. So sometimes you see people who used to get filler back in the 90s, and their lips are kind of misshapen because of how the filler, ended up aging, because it wasn't great stuff back then. So you're in a time where it looks good now and it will later. So bitch, use it, abuse it, and be fierce.
And if you have a friend that calls you out, you know what? They're probably jealous. All right, go ahead.
Honestly, because that bitch is broke and they can afford the filler you got.
Yeah, if a friend calls you out at work for about it, they're probably broke and jealous.
100%. Absolutely.
Like, yeah, anyway, go ahead. What's the next one, Jacob?
Hi, Monét and Bob. My question is, how do you guys feel about colorism in the dating aspect? I'm 21, and a lot of guys, they don't even pay me any mind because I'm a dark-skinned woman. And I feel like I have to do more to look pleasing. But if a light-skinned woman just steps out the house, she's automatically attractive just because of the complexion of her skin. I don't get a lot of attention because of that. It might be where I'm from, but how do you guys feel about that? Do you witness a lot of that?
I think colorism is something that is very pervasive in our society, whether it be dating, friendships, work, whatever. Like it's a very real conversation, and not just for Black folk, for other ethnic groups too. It is a very big thing. And as it pertains to dating, I hear a lot of people talk about this, and they have to have two minds about it. One mind is, well, bitch, kind of like with gays, like with like, I don't want any femmes, I don't want any fats, whatever. I'm like, well, I don't want you either. Like if you're not looking for that, then thank God you're putting it on Front Street, because then I don't want to fucking fuck you or suck your dick or date you if that's your mindset. So my mind is like, if someone doesn't want to be with you because you have darker skin, and I'm like, well, thank you for letting me know, because I'm not wasting my time. But also the moral aspect of it is like, bitch, like what the fuck is wrong with you? What kind of self-loathing and self-hate do you have towards your own people, that because my skin is darker that you don't want to date me or you don't find me attractive? It's really fucked up. And I think it's just a lot of work that we have to keep on doing and calling it out. Now, I'm saying, I don't think you want to get into a screaming match with some person on a dating app that doesn't want to date you because you're darker skin. I'm like, that I wouldn't want to do that either. But I think it takes us societally to like mention it, and doing it like things on this podcast as someone that may be listening and who is perpetuating that behavior, calling it out now. When you submitting your question to have this conversation out loud, I think is steps to helping solve the problem and helping people realize their own racial biases for people in their community.
I was just, whenever I hook up with someone who's dark skinned, it is so wild. I remember this one guy who was dark skinned, and whenever we have sex, I be like, we literally look like one person. Like I literally can't tell where I end and where you begin.
That's a lyric. Bitch, let me write that down. Where I end
and I want money. And if I hear you if I hear you fucking sing it at all, run me a check. Evidence right here. Anyway, that's just a total side note. Colorism is so serious and it is so real, and I am pretty dark skinned. I come from a pretty dark skinned family. We are my nickname in elementary school was Blackie, and as a reminder, I went to an all black elementary school, so they called me Blackie because I was like the blackest one of the blackest of the blacks, and it was just not fun. Like, man, it was shit. It felt like shit. It felt so bad as a child. I ask you right now, if you're out there listening to me right now, listen to me. This is real. And I was thinking about this, I didn't want to tweet it because it just felt like so weird to tweet, but I need to say this somewhere. Never ever tell a kid they're ugly. You cannot ever tell a kid that. I'm telling you guys, you can't do that to a child. That is something that a child can probably never recover from. Mm-hmm. If you tell a kid they're ugly, it is in the back of your mind till the day you die. Because you're so formative when you're young, and when someone tells you that you're ugly, especially a bunch of other kids or like an adult, that shit can really fuck you up.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got that off my chest. But I think that Monét is right. Like, honestly, it sounds so basic, but it is their loss. It is their loss if they don't want to be with you because you're dark skinned. And colorism is really really rough in the especially I feel like especially I feel personally a lot amongst the straights. You know what I mean? Like so I don't know what it is with like straight guys specifically saying out loud the words like no dark skinned girls.
Like Chris Brown. That's go ahead. Sing your thing. I
mean that's pretty much it. What did you say about Chris Brown?
Well, because Chris Brown he was supposed to be honored at the AMAs. He was supposed to be honored at the AMAs for they wanted to do some dance, but the AMAs pulled his performance, or they decided not to go with it. I guess maybe some people were like, Chris Brown, like, did y'all forget? And people were like, oh man, he apologized to Rihanna. Rihanna forgive him. Why can't y'all move on? And then Kelly Rowland was like, we're not gonna do that. And I'm like, it's not just the Rihanna thing. Like, also, that is Rihanna's choice to forgive him.
But Kelly Rowland said we're not gonna forgive him, or we're not gonna not forgive him.
We're not gonna not forgive her because she was announcing him. She was like, and the winner is Chris Brown, and people were like booing. She was like, we're not doing that. And she's like, Chris Brown, I love you, support you, blah 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 blah.
Oh, Kelly Rowland supports Chris Brown.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, and first of all, that's Rihanna's problem. I was as a person who was digesting pop culture, I saw that, and I can choose in myself, and us as the general public can choose whether or not like how we feel about the situation. But not just that, Chris Brown is so vocal about light skins only and him not like wanting to go with dark skinned girls and stuff like that. So I'm like, it's not just a Rihanna thing. There are other layers as to why Chris Brown and the colorism thing being such a big issue in the black community, to have really big black entertainers who are very popular in the community say shit like that only helps perpetuate the behavior by other dudes and people in the community.
Didn't Chris Brown get into like a fight with Frank Ocean over some like homophobic shit?
I don't know. Did he?
Apparently, Chris Brown and Frank Ocean got into like a huge fight. Apparently, Frank Ocean was throwing hands.
Oh yeah, Chris Brown and Frank Ocean Twitter beef.
But I think let's
see.
It got real in the real world.
Chris Brown tweeted, "I fuck with Frank Ocean. Reminds me of a young James Fauntleroy or Kevin Costner. I don't know who that is." And then Frank Ocean said, "I fucks with Chris Brown. Reminds me of a young Cisco or Ike Turner."
Wait.
And then Frank Ocean said, "I just don't understand underhanded comments. That's all I'm saying."
Wait. Does Frank Ocean literally have no chill? Frank Ocean has two settings: calling you Ike Turner or selling you a $40,000 cock ring. This is crazy.
And
no,
then Chris Brown
that
said,
is wild.
It was a compliment, you bitch ass nigga. Everybody came to be the devil till they meet him. And then she was they were just going back and forth.
So is Chris Brown saying he's the devil?
Chris Brown tried to shake Frank Ocean's hand, and Frank Ocean was like, "No, thank you."
Honestly, Frank Ocean better work.
And then allegedly, this is where the stories get kind of murky. In some accounts, it looks like Chris Brown punched him in the face. At some other points, it just looks like other people started fighting, and then in that fight, somebody in Brown's crew called Frank Ocean a faggot. And it started.
If we fight and you call me a slur, you were thinking it the whole time.
Oh, for
like
sure.
If we fight and you call me a slur, that's been in your mind the whole time. Do you feel that way, Mona?
Oh yeah, for sure.
How do we even get on this?
I don't know. I was talking about colorism and Chris Brown. But yeah, so
was this from the lip injections question? The light skin question.
Yeah. So long story short, again, I think that us having this conversation and the dialogue is important, but it's something that's so heavily embedded in our culture. It's really
is there colorism in St. Lucia?
I honestly know. Maybe I was so young I don't realize, and going back I don't realize it now. I'm sure people who live there may have a different experience, but I don't. Like, they were just black people. And the thing that stuck out was when I was young, few white people that lived on the island. But
you have any light skin friends?
Yeah, like light skin and dark skin West Indian people in Jamaica. It's a very big thing. Like a lot of Jamaicans. Yeah, because it's so much so that a lot of people in Jamaica who are dark skinned, they bleach their skin to be light skinned. But that's not a thing in St. Lucia at all. Like, not even.
Colorism is huge and it's like really intense. specifically South Korea and
Brazil.
And Cuba.
Oh, Cuba, really?
Oh yeah, in Cuba, oh my God, the colorism is apparent. I've never been to Cuba, but from what I hear, the colorism is like really intense in Cuba because there's a lot of Black Cubans.
Yeah.
And also in like the Dominican Republic, which is why some people are saying a lot of Dominicans say they're not Black, no matter how Black they look, because they just don't want to be Black.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Black like that.
Okay, Jacob. Next question.
Hi, Bob and Monet. So, I'm a 22-year-old gay person living here in Saudi Arabia, which is a very homophobic environment, both inside of my house and outside of my house. And I really want to be able to express my gender identity and my sexuality and my drag, but I really cannot. The circumstances don't allow it, and I won't be able to for the next coming years, not until I graduate college and try to immigrate. I just wanted to ask, like, what advice would you give to someone trying to survive being in the closet for a long time and feeling depressed about it? Thank you very much. I love the podcast.
That's a tough one.
That makes me very sad. I'm very sad here.
I know. I just got very sad.
Cry.
Same, because it's just in like kind of in their tone. They just sound so defeated, and I cannot imagine living in a space and not being able to express yourself freely and to be that sounds very sad. And also, you live in a country that you may be pursued by law. Like you may be in jail. You could. I mean, I don't know the exact laws in the Middle East, but you know what it sounds like. You could be stoned or some crazy thing. So I don't even want to give any advice to put you in danger of any of that stuff.
It sounds so terrifying. There's a company called Rainbow Railroad, which helps people seek asylum and get out of places where they feel like they're in danger, specifically queer people. It's called Rainbow Railroad. It's really, honestly, one of the most sickening charities I've ever come across in my life. They help people get out of very, very scary places and get them to safety and help them seek asylum. But the thing about seeking asylum is if you seek asylum, you can't go back.
Yeah.
Like you have to give up everything. You can only reach out to your family via Zoom or if they come to you. That's what people don't realize about asylum. So like when everyone's like, just go seek asylum, like you can, like people who seek asylum, like we have a friend who seeks asylum from Russia, a drag queen in New York City, and she can never go home again. Ever. She literally cannot go back home.
Yeah.
That is so.
Yeah.
It's just really sad. I think that your safety is really important. And I think that happiness is a part of safety. And I think you have to weigh what's important to you and what feels urgent and what you need now. Maybe what you need now is a home. But maybe what you need down the line is queer community. Maybe you can find queer community online in a way that maybe your family won't see it by like listening to this podcast. Maybe there's queer people that you can talk to online. I'm afraid to even say meet them in person because my God, that sounds so scary.
Yeah.
But thank God we live on the internet now. We're in the digital age. You know what I mean? And I just hope that one day you're in a place where you can feel free to be yourself and hold hands with who you want to hold hands with and be the kind of person you want to be. It just sounds, I really count my lucky stars every day that I live in a place where that's not the case for me.
And all for something that happens in fucking nature. And like Christians and stuff, they try to say it's not natural. Bitch, it is so natural. Fucking mad animals do it. Dolphins, lions, bitch, penguins they develop same-sex relationships and they adopt and raise baby penguins together. How much more natural can it get?
You know what they don't do in nature? Praise the Lord. Worship Jesus. There's no religion in nature. That's what they don't. That's what's not natural. Is anyone ever going to talk about that?
That's a good point, Bob.
There's no zebras worshiping the Lord out here.
You make some. You know what? You should become. You know how they have the Antichrist. You should be an anti-pastor. You should be an anti-rabbi. You had some very good points. It does not happen in nature.
Never, not once. There are no Christian
maybe in the
giraffes.
Lion King.
Yeah, in the movie The Lion King, it did happen. But as far as I know, there are no Christian giraffes.
That's a good point. You're so smart sometimes, my little baby.
The Christian with his little a little giraffe. I saw a video of a giraffe recently, and I was like, my God, giraffes look crazy. A giraffe is fully a dinosaur. Like, when you look at a giraffe, you're like, this is insane. Have you ever seen one in real life?
Not in real life. Oh, I did, actually. Andy and I went on a safari.
They look like dinosaurs. I feel the same way about ostriches and emus. Emus look crazy.
Bitch, on Reddit the other day, I was scrolling through Reddit. I don't know what page I follow on Reddit, but it was a ostrich just running through traffic, and then it got hit by a car, and that bitch got up and fucking kicked the car and then went on his merry way. I was like, these motherfuckers are crazy.
And ostriches can run like 40 miles an hour or something.
It's crazy.
Like, they are so scary.
I ever seen that lady on TikTok who like she's like
43 miles an hour. The one who's like this to the ostrich?
yeah, and she like stops them. I'm like, bitch, that thing look like it's gonna get her. No,
Yeah,
it's not an
giraffe
ostrich.
look-
It's like an emu or something like that.
Ostriches and giraffes look insane. I saw a giraffe online and then I was like, this just doesn't even look like a real creature. This long ass neck. And you know the way do you know how giraffes give birth?
Oh, yeah, standing up.
The baby just falls,
Yeah.
hits a dip on birth, pow, gets up and starts catwalking. Dun, 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 dun. Like, gets up and just gets tens across the board.
Yeah, giraffes are wild. I've never seen, years ago, and if y'all are listening, I am sorry I've had to cancel the gig so many times. I'm going to have my people reach back out to me because I want to go. I definitely want to go. The gig in Cape Town and Johannesburg, I really want to go. Trinity did it and Detox did it. And they said, girl, I can't recommend this gig enough. It's such a good time. And I was like, I know it's a good time. There's always something going on with my schedule I have minutes ago. So I want to go and I want to see and touch the animals. I want to be amongst my people, the giraffes.
You think you're a giraffe?
For sure. What are you doing?
What does that look like to you?
A pen?
It's like a superhero with a cape.
You one of those kids. You're one of those kids that had to play with pens and put Post-its on it as a thing.
We didn't all grow up with
no
$1 billion Lego sets.
I didn't have imagination. I needed the real thing.
So please forgive us. Those of us who had to resort to pens, you'll forgive us.
That was
right?
you. No. I wasn't a kid. I didn't make kitty sounds. I didn't do stuff like pew pew. That was not me.
You sound like you were real fun.
That wasn't me.
You sound like you must have been a riot to hang out with this child.
I couldn't do it with the fake shit. I needed the real shit. I was playing my Nintendo 64.
You never played pretend?
No, because
Damn, that shit sounds sad as hell. You never play make believe. You never had play nothing.
No, I was real.
Did you ever believe in Santa Claus?
I did. I think as late as like 7.
Did you have a tooth fairy, Easter bunny?
We didn't have a tooth fairy. We dug up eggs on Easter, but I know that my mom did it. It wasn't no damn bunny.
You're like, we know.
We know.
You probably smug about it
Dug
too.
up eggs? Like they were buried underneath the ground?
Well, no, like they'll put them in like a plant, or they put them like in like our yard. We had a yard, so we'll be like all over the
So
the
you
grounds.
just watching your mom hide the eggs and then just picking them up where you saw her put them down?
No, she would do them like when we weren't looking.
You was like, mm-hmm.
I
see you.
While she was hiding the eggs, I was getting the goat in the pan.
The curry goat.
I was like, this bitch thinks she's slick. I was like, yeah, ma, go hide the eggs.
We did Easter eggs at church. We never did them at home, though.
Back when you were arming your arsenal with your antichrist rhetoric.
That's when I studied, honey.
Like, it's not natural.
I
Animals
actually
praising the Lord.
I actually thought about. I was like, there should be some sort of a like kind of, but like imagine if there was like a church, but it's not actually church. It's just like healing group therapy that you go to get good advice from a person who is kind of pastoral, but I mean honestly it's AA. But you don't have to be sober for it. You can just go to this place, get good advice, and it doesn't have to be through the guise of like the Lord.
I think the same thing, but do it with like mushrooms or like acid or like ayahuasca. That's even more healing.
Maybe we should start our own thing.
I think. Okay, but at
That's
our
a
thing,
cult. That's a cult. We're not gonna do that. I'm gonna stop that before it gets out of control. That's a cult, and we're not doing that. We need to
Bob,
move on to the next question.
let's do it.
Let's go to the next question, Jacob. They try to start a cult.
Bitch, you the one that want to start it, not me.
And then the gaslighting. This is crazy. I want the garage.
I hope you guys are doing really good. So basically, I need advice on just like how to not like be jealous over like fucking like just boys. Like that shit is dumb and I hate it. And I hate that I'm like that. But like I don't know. It's like if anything ever makes me jealous, or if I'm like talking to a boy or whatever, I'm like, oh, bitch, who cares? Like, no need to be jealous, blah, blah, blah. But bitch, fucking 10 minutes later, and I'm sitting there mad because I'm jealous, and it's stupid. So, any advice is greatly appreciated. Love you both. You're both so amazing. And yeah, thank you.
They're jealous of other boys, or
I think he means jealous of like his partner talking to boys.
Got it.
I think unless you're just jealous of like your friends being like successful or your friends. There are times where I get very jealous of people who aren't. I'm not dating, but like you ever had a friend who like gets all the people you want, and you're like, that was like everyone I've ever wanted to hook up with. You've hooked up with. This is crazy.
I don't think so, actually.
Me either, actually. But anyway, so may I offer this notion? Jealousy is a symptom. It is not the illness. It is just a symptom of something else. Often it is a symptom of insecurity. So that's where you have to work on the insecurity. And then I think that if you work on the insecurity, then the symptoms of your insecurity will be lessened over time. So if you're insecure about whether or not your partner really loves you, maybe work on your relationship. If you're insecure about if your partner thinks you're sexy, maybe talk to your partner about that. Maybe you will learn that your sexiness is not actually derived in your physical beauty, or that your sexiness is not actually in competition with anyone else's beauty. You know what I mean? Maybe your insecurity is in whether or not your partner thinks you're funny, and he thinks that these people, he has a better connection with other people. And then you might realize that your partner actually loves your connection and he doesn't want it to be different. He just likes having a different connection with other people too. You know what I mean? So I would say, I would look at the symptom. I mean, look at the cause of the symptom as opposed to looking at the jealousy as if it's the end all be all.
I think that's great advice. I also want to offer this to you too, is that like, let's say someone is like, you're not going to be every single thing that your partner wants. There's always going to be someone prettier, funnier, smarter, more in shape, or whatever. Like there's no way that you can be the motherfucking super Thanos of life to your partner. So I think that accepting that truth to be truth, and that's a big step in it. Also, talking to your partner, kind of in line with what Bob is saying, having these conversations with your partner and being vocal and honest about it. It's another big part of the puzzle in that. Because I think like once you are allowing yourself to be like, hey, babe, this is what I'm feeling and this is why I feel that way, then that opens up your partner as well to maybe affirm you more, to maybe spend time with you more, or to just make things to help you feel better in that thing. But just know, you have to know in your mind that you will never be the hottest, the funniest, the tallest, the prettiest. Like no one will be that. There is always going to be something else better. But just having a strong foundation and having open and honest conversation with your partner is a valuable way and a good way, in my opinion, to remedy that.
You also don't need to be all that stuff. And
right.
I wouldn't say there's always something better. There's always something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And each people value things differently. And you also you don't like, I think personally that if you feel the need to be your partner's everything, there's a much, much more important conversation to be had.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to be your everything, not your partner's everything. Be your everything.
Yeah, is that Mary J. Blige? You're my everything, and everything is you.
I don't recognize that lyric.
You're my everything.
Oh,
And
and everything
Yes.
is you, and all I want is
Yeah,
the
Mary J.
love.
Blige.
Oh, yeah, I was wrong. I do recognize that lyric. Actually, I just didn't recognize you weren't singing it.
Thank you, Bob, for pointing that I wasn't singing it.
I just don't know if you know what singing is technically or not. I don't know if you know what singing is.
Jacob, next question, please.
Can you define singing?
Hey Bob and Monet. My name is Nathan. I'm 30 years old. I am based in Bristol in the UK. I am a queer, non-binary person of colour. And recently I have put on a bit of weight. I fluctuate with my weight anyway, but since the lockdown I've like got the biggest that I've ever been. And I love my body. I am very comfortable in my skin, but I am really struggling to express myself in the ways that I usually do, in terms of the way that I dress. And this is difficult for me because this means that I am basically just dressing very, in quotation marks, mask most of the time and not really exploring that femme, in quotation marks, side of me. And I was just wondering if you had any advice.
What's her name again?
Fun fact.
Cody?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Anyway, all right, go ahead. Nathan.
How did you get Cody from Nathan?
I don't know.
Fun fact about Bristol, when I did my first one-woman show, Call Me by Monét, when I took it to the UK, bitch, Bristol was my first city. They lost my bags in Bristol. And then I didn't have it for Bristol, didn't have it for Dublin, and then they showed up in Glasgow like 3 days later. But it was just local queens bringing things to the show so I could wear it.
Bristol.
So as someone whose weight fluctuates a lot, but I mean I've always been on the thicker side my entire life. I've lost a little weight in my adult years, but I've always been a thick bitch. And I think that if your body's changing and you say that you've put on a little weight since COVID, I think to start embracing that femme side again, I think you have to take some time to love on your thicker self. Like something that I did was that I would just like, Bob talking about like my nudes, like I would like just take naked pictures of myself and take naked videos of myself and look at myself and be like, bitch, this is hot. This is sexy. And I would just like look in the mirror and just affirm what I was seeing in the camera, what I was seeing in the mirror, and like taking that time to be like, this looks good. I think this is sexy. I better work. And I think that was a big part of building my confidence in how my body was changing and me truly coming to love myself, because it took me a long time to get here, right? And we talk about on the podcast, you know, how we look at old pictures of ourselves and be like, not this, Colleen, get down from there. We talk about
why do we talk to Cass like as if Cass gonna listen? Cass be like, nigga, I heard you and I'm not doing it. That's how Cass look at people.
And then, you know, we look at old pictures of myself and be like, I was so hard on myself and I was smaller back then. And I think when I realized that was happening, I would really like go and like do the work of looking at my body and taking pictures and video of myself and be like, I look sexy, I look hot, what of it? And also drag, like giving myself the liberty to love myself in drag was a big part, and also that journey to loving my body and myself and what I looked like.
I've gained a lot of weight over the years. I do not quite fluctuate. I just kind of just keep going up. You know, from when I started drag, I've legitimately gained 60 pounds from when I started doing drag. 60 pounds. That is a lot of person. It does not help that I was very skinny. I was skinny when I started doing drag. And now I am someone's uncle. I'm someone's uncles, to be quite frank. And that's just kind of how my body has changed over the years. That's just what my body's grown into. I could probably do something to change it, but as we mentioned on the last podcast, I could either do the physical work it takes to change my body or the mental work it takes to love it, and I've chosen to do neither. A lot of people really resonated with that quote the last time I said it, but the truth is I actually am working to try to, you know, to love my body. That was actually more of a bit than actual truth. And, you know, my gender expression has definitely changed over the years throughout my aging and my weight gain. you know, I will get this, but this is a picture of me when I was like 25 and I was like 180 pounds. And I was dressing the way I'm dressing there, which is like a black shirt and some black jeans. And I was just like skinny and at the club, like living my dreams. And this is a picture of me around like 240, which is what I am at now, 60 pounds later. You know what I mean? And something interesting that I realized is like, Nathan, there is someone out there
Cody.
who is very into your body. Oh, baby, someone's into your body. Someone is very into the way Nathan's shaped right now. Someone out there is wants to fucking slurp up on some Nathan right now. Somebody wants that thick, non-binary Bristol bussy, baby. And somebody wants it today, honey, all right?
Pussy.
And there is nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with getting affirmations from people from hearing people tell me that I was sexy really helped me out. Oh my God. Helped me so much. Having someone affirm you in your beauty, oh my God, that can do a lot. There's nothing wrong with asking for that and searching for that. Don't ever let anyone make you feel bad about it.
Yes, I agree. Sorry, Colleen jumped. I got nervous.
Put your cat down. Stairs, please.
I shan't.
Are you not going to acknowledge that really brilliant bit? You're such a hater these days. I don't know what's got into you. You're a hater these days.
We probably have time for one more question, so we should take the question, Bob.
What we have time is for you to acknowledge that I am that was funny.
That was our last question.
Oh.
So why don't we spend the rest of these last 6 minutes talking about our problems?
Or you could talk about what you thought about Black Panther 2. We haven't discussed in the podcast yet, and people.
We need to talk to Monét. Needs to address the issue, the elephant in the room.
Her opinion on Black Panther 2. That would be a really good topic. Bob, what did you think of Black Panther 2?
I thought that it was as funny as me. What do you think, Monét? Do you think Black Panther 2 is as funny as me?
I thought M'Baku was I loved M'Baku's role in the film. I loved him.
No, if I'm being very serious,
he's Trinidadian. Did you know that he's West Indian, bitch? I know that you hate West Indians and you talk about Caribbean people all the time.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. We all know it.
Why would I hate West Indians?
We have nothing to by your behaviors on this podcast.
And we know how you feel about Southerners. There's a lot of Southerners who listen to this podcast.
Some of my favorite dick is from the South.
Okay. You fetishize our dick. What about our way of life, honey? My honest thoughts about Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever. You know, it was long, and we need to obviously say spoiler alert. Mm-hmm. We're throwing out a spoiler alert to you all. Black Panther 2 was long, Mama. It was giving long. It could have been shorter. I really do feel that way. It was really weird to see them pay tribute to a dead character who's also a dead person. Like they were paying tribute to T'Challa, but also paying tribute to Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah,
which was very interesting. I wasn't in love with like the racial fighting between the indigenous Mexicans or the indigenous North Americans, and the black people,
the Mesoamericans.
Thank you. Between the Mesoamericans and the black folks, I was like, why we got to be fighting? Like when we could be fighting Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who's over here actively plotting all of our downfall. Let's go fight the vice president. Let's go fight Veep.
Well, I think they're trying to build up to that. So they did it in this thing.
But I want to fight Veep now. I want to fight like I don't want to fight these fucking Mesoamericans. I want to fight the vice president. Honey,
my qualm was that I thought it was a good movie. I go to Marvel movies for the fighting and the crazy fight scenes, and the first Black Panther movie, the fight scenes were so fucking good in it. And in this one, I feel like the fiercest one was the one with Okoye and one of the they're not Atlantans. What are they called? Tolokan.
I can't remember. It was hard to pronounce.
Yeah, one of the Mesoamericans and Okoye when they fought on the bridge in Boston. To me, that was the fiercest fight scene, and the big fight scene that we built up to the end, it just felt a little anticlimactic. There was a few moments, but normally the final fight scene in these Marvel movies, they're always fucking fierce, and you leave the theater like, oh my God, that was so good. So that I was upset that I didn't get like the fighting scenes that I wanted in Black Panther.
And Black Panther was getting her ass whooped. She was getting beat the fuck up. I was like, she is getting whooped up, honey. Beat down. I was like, my God, this is not looking good at all. She got the powers and didn't do nothing. I was like, what is going on?
Well, because T'Challa was like he was like an expert warrior and like a good fighter. And Shuri's claim to Black Pantherism, or like we've seen, is that she's really smart. So like you would think that she would like give herself like gadgets and stuff to give her a leg up. And like those two little hand things she made, he crushed those in the first second of combat. They were gone.
Yeah, like make her like Iron Man or something. You know what I mean?
Like super smart, right?
Yeah, like
because she is super smart.
But use your technology the way Iron Man does, or the way that college girl was doing.
Ironheart.
You know what I mean? A college girl named Ironheart.
Yeah, she's gonna be Ironheart in this series. She's a Iron Man's protege. Well, she becomes the new Iron Man.
And her spin-off Marvel show is the one that
Shay's in. Yeah. Wow. So why do you hate Shay? Shay has done nothing but support you, your little black nativity show. What's it called? Umoja. No. What is the show with BB and you and Pep and Shay? Oh my God! It's on
what
the
do you think it is, Monét?
Why
do you hate BB, Pep, and Shay? Why do you hate me, BB, Pep, and Shay, and Mo Hart? Why do you hate all of us?
Jacob, what is
That's
it
the
again?
real question.
It's on the
I'm not telling you. Why do you tell me why you hate all of us, and I'll tell you the name of it.
What is the name? So with an
why did
N,
you
right?
decline an invitation to be a part of it?
Yeah, that is. I have explained this story 19 times. I did not decline it. Y'all know.
Why did you decline?
Y'all know the.
Why do you not want to be associated with the other? Why do you want to distance
this.
yourself from the other black creators?
That's not what happened, and y'all know that's not what happened.
Why do you want to be on a separate? Why do you think you're better than all the other black girls?
Nativity, Umoja.
Yeah, it's called Jumanji.
What is the name?
It's called Nubia.
Nubia.
And then you belittle it and laugh at it by calling it Umaji and Jubambwe, Djibouti. This is the way you want to separate yourself from all the black girls and belittle what we've created.
That is not what's happening.
Insane.
You're so ridiculous.
You think you're better than us?
I do not.
Are you better than us? Are you better than me?
Oh, I'm definitely better than you.
Are you better than Pep?
I'm better than you.
Are you better than Pep?
I'm better than you.
Are you better than BB?
I'm better than you.
Are you better than Shay?
I'm better than you.
Are you better than Mo Hart?
I'm better than you. So the question is, if you think you're better than all of them, then I guess I am.
So you're better than all of them.
If I'm better than you, how do you rate yourself next to these queens?
Wow, I think we're equals.
Okay, so I guess we're equal then.
No, so if you're better than me and we're equals, you're better than all of them.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you know how math works, Mama? You ever heard of the transitive property, Mama?
I don't, but I know how meth works, and I'm about to do some right now.
So by the transitive property, you think you're better than all y'all? You heard it. Monét's better than every other black queen who's ever existed. I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
You know what? Me, Vixen, and Tamisha Mon, we gonna start our own thing called Khadijah.
And on that note, y'all have a one. Thank you for listening to Sibling Advicery. Goodbye, everyone. You are wild.